fantastic.
Thanks for being here, man.
Of course.
All right, so I do a little intro
Okay.
that I wrote
Oh, okay.
specifically for you.
Oh, God. A soliloquy?
It's more of a haiku, really.
Okay.
More of a haiku, really. Today's guest is a hospitality OG. He's a friend. He's been a mentor to me, and he's one of the smarter dudes that I know. And when it comes to customer service and restaurants, he's opened more restaurants than anybody else I know, and those restaurants have printed millions of dollars, I'm sure. He's trained hundreds of people, myself included, and still found time to coach the next wave of leaders. My friend Vince Kassay.
Thanks for having me.
Dude, I'm happy that you're here.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to hear. So, do you remember how we met?
We met at Carrabba's. Prior to that, I don't know if we interacted. I know that the kids do things here and there, but I think it was you coming on at Carrabba's.
Yeah. And to this day, Pam and I sing your praises for two reasons specifically. One of the best jobs I've ever had. And I own my own business, and it rivals working for you. And I know that's not, I'm not just saying that because you're sitting here. The reason, though, is that I think the biggest thing is that you still have, but had at the time, like the most amazing ability to empower people, coach people up. You were the right tool for the right moment. Sometimes you were a hammer. Sometimes you were, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And dude, that restaurant ran flawlessly. So much so, it's hard for me to go to any other restaurant, right? And more specifically, it's really hard to go back to that restaurant because it is a shell of an organization without you. So now that I'm done S and your D about it, how does that happen? So how does Vince, you were a proprietor at and I imagine we can say Carrabba's, who cares?
Yeah.
If whatever. They shut us down. That's
it.
Word. Follow me on Patreon. So take us back. So when did you start at that Carrabba's, and when you got it, what kind of shape was it in, or what was your mission?
So I had been with Carrabba's for 3 years. Started as a server, moved up to key employee, bartender. The guy I worked for was a very good developer of people. He was the one where you're like, hey, how does this work? He was like, come in tomorrow at 9 and I'm show you. So I'm, chopping onions and potatoes. I'm cleaning the liquor room, doing orders. So there was a progress of that helped me along, and I held on to a lot of that because it's good to have someone that's going to show you something in life. And that was my first intro to you're going to meet people outside of your friend group and your family that are nice and kind and do want to do something nice for you. So that was great.
Sure.
I landed in Carrabba's Palm Harbor as managing partner at 24.
So pause. So what is it, for those that don't know what the heck that means?
Okay.
Like me.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean? So a managing partner.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So this was a program that Outback created to create ownership and growth. So if you were working at a Bennigan's in 1986, you were a GM, and the GM was paid X amount of money. If you happened to click certain boxes, many, all of them, you got a bonus. If you were missing 2, no bonus. And so there was a big turnover. It's hard to attract talent. It's hard to get people invested in building a brand when they're not really committed to something. So what Outback did, Chris Sullivan, Bob Basham, and Tim Gannon said, we need a partnership with these people to keep them in the building so they can become part of the community, so they can become a force that creates consistency, because that's what restaurants lose over time. Big changeover in partners or GMs, and then, that's not my schedule, or he never made me do that, or she was never like that, and then all of a sudden you lose everyone. So it was a 5-year program. You put a certain amount of money into an investment, and if you stuck around 5 years, you got what was called a buyout. And it was a big chunk of money that you couldn't touch for a while because they wanted you to stay even longer. They're really smart guys.
Right. Incentives, giant piece of incentive.
Huge. And so, if you were dynamic enough to stick around for 15 years, you basically bought your retirement program if you could hang on to that money and not spend it.
Sure.
So a managing partner was a partner with the company, a 10% owner, and got 10% of the profit. So if you did well, you rejoiced in that. If you did poorly, you learned your lesson and you kind of turned it around the next month. So it made you work a little harder, work a little bit smarter, and get a little bit more greedy with each step, hopefully in the right direction with good integrity.
Sure.
So that was that's where the managing partner, that term came from. And it was Outback, it was Carrabba's, it was Bonefish. All of their concepts, they pretty much mirrored that program.
Got it. So I love that because you're invested in the success. Yeah. You're invested in every liquor pour, every undercook, recook, piece of bread. Like you see it all as dollar signs. But what I loved most about it is that you weren't you maintained and held the standard, but you weren't a total prick about it. And let me clarify that. Yeah. Is that you were very nice at, hey, this is why, like as if we were children, right? But you did it in such a way where it was like, it was empowering. Like when I worked behind the bar, I felt like, oh, this is my bar, right? And like when I worked at these tables, it's like we made tons of money for a whole bunch of reasons, but things I'll give you credit for is that it was consistent. Didn't matter, well, some servers, but I would say it didn't matter what server you had, which section you sat in, which bartender you had, who the cook was. None of that shit mattered. Whether you were there that night, like even your keys and your your AMs, right? Were all everybody maintained a standard. And what, again, going back to the incredibleness of that, saying it out loud, it's like, yeah, no, duh, that's how a restaurant should run. But not a lot of them do. In fact, I would say a vast majority don't run that way. Yeah,
it's the honest truth. I think, if you were going to look at the answer, and I appreciate the credit and all of the kudos, the answer is how. Better. I appreciate that. I do. I think the answer to success in a business is finding people, not necessarily that are going to do what you tell them.
Sure.
But you are going to get along with at a certain level where they want to do that job. They understand what's expected and how to do it and what the reward is. And the reward can't always just be money. It can't always just be a schedule. Sometimes it's camaraderie. Sometimes it's, the parties or the late nights or let's, meet up at the movies. Whatever it is, over time I tried to reinvent that. But the honest truth, going back to your question, when I arrived at Palm Harbor, I took over for a guy that had been there for 5 years, and people really liked him, and he was very talented and very smart.
Sure.
And here I am, 24 years old, probably 5 to 6 years younger than he, coming in thinking I knew what I was doing, and I didn't. And everyone had that, who are you? That's not how we do it here. We do drink behind the bar. You're just going to have to get over it. Or, I come in and I'm under the, there were a lot of those things. And I think it took probably 3 or 4 years of cycling through different types of staff and hiring techniques and training programs. And then I started finding good people that wanted to work just as hard as they needed to do a good job. So we got people, all the people, your greatest hit list, sure. All of those people started staying longer sure. Because they got the schedule they needed, they took care of themselves, they paid their rent, they got the car they wanted, all of those little things. And as I don't mean it in a manipulative way, it wasn't a checklist after everyone went home going, okay, 2 more shifts and I own Justin, 3 more shifts sure. And Emily won't quit for another year.
Sure.
But it was more or less, I really enjoy this person. What do they need from me? And are they going to give me what I need from them? And you create a very good relationship.
A culture.
Yeah, that you still had to do your job.
Sure.
To your point, there were times when I was a hammer and there was times like, hey, come over here. We need to talk about this. Yeah. And I can remember 2 of those times that you and I had the conversation. Yeah,
and you
were like, okay, that's not a side I see a lot of him. And
sure.
What I learned over the years through a lot of coaching from my boss, who was always a hammer, was that every situation and every person has to have a different approach. It's not universal, and that theory of everyone's treated the same and that's the most fair way is actually not the least accurate, in my opinion, because I can sit down with you intelligently and go, hey, this is what I'm looking for, what I need, and appeal to reason or what you find valuable. and that works. And then there's another person I have to sit down and go, dude, if it happens again, you're out. I don't want you to be out. Sure. I want you to be here, but I'm also not going to tolerate this. Some people need a door slammed or something loud happening. Other people don't respond to that, and then that becomes the boss they don't like.
Sure.
Even if they were going to be good employee and do a good job, they're all of a sudden very turned off by that.
Sure.
And I lost a lot of people when I didn't understand the difference, for sure.
Yeah, well, so, right, you have to be dynamic because the entire building runs on people. Mm-hmm. Right? From the top down, all the way down to the bussers, right? Even to the dishwasher, which had a question for you. Who's the most important person in a restaurant?
You know, everyone says dishwasher because no one wants to get back there,
sure.
Honestly. For me, at Carrabba's, it was the grill guy because very few people could do the job at the level that they did it. And even if they could, no one wanted to clean that thing. I'd much rather take out trash and clean up the dish area than clean that grill. It's just gross. It was disgusting. You know, ultimately, the dishwasher is, because no one wants to do that job, you can still function without that. You know, I would say the water department. We lost water twice for less than 2 or 3 hours, and I thought, we can't do this. Like between dishes and boiling water and pasta, silly things like that. But I don't know. I mean, if you look at it from the outside, the GM is. Because they're making all of those things happen. They're paying attention to what people need, the tools, the inventory, the product, the safety. There's so many things that person's in charge of. It's not for everyone, and it's definitely not something that's easy. It took a while to master and to a point where you don't think about it. Sure. But yeah, it's a tough business. It's not for everyone. I fell into it. It wasn't a goal of mine. It wasn't a dream. I couldn't imagine anything else. And I've tried doing something other than restaurants, and I didn't like it. It wasn't fun. It wasn't interesting, and it definitely didn't have that ER feel without people dying.
Sure, right.
Which is what it feels like sometimes.
100%. I'm of the opinion, I don't know if you're familiar, but like in Israel, everyone serves in the military for mandatory 2 years.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Men and women, right? In this country, I think it should be mandatory that everyone serves in a restaurant. Works, or front of house or back of house, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But works in a restaurant minimum 24 months.
Good perspective. Little humbling. You know, a little less, hey, you know, as Daniel Tosh said, your ranch isn't that important.
Sure. But I think, exactly. But also, too, I think that being in the weeds has given me so much grace under pressure as an adult, whether it's with my kids, with doing all this shit, you know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
And there's a freedom there. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that, especially now, it's seeming more and more in our culture of like people where every day is the end of the world. You know, life is so hard, all this stuff and blah, blah. Maybe it was always there, and because of the internet, we're just hearing it more. But I just feel like being in the weeds and getting out of the weeds, or having somebody help you get out of the weeds, or, you know, going into the walk-in and just yelling the F word as loud as you can because, you know, table X is, you know, being a pain in your ass or whatever it is. Right. But, you know, I think that skill set has helped me more, is one of the many skill sets that's helped me more than anything else in my life. And I owe it not just to Carrabba's, but Carrabba's was like the perfect time in my life where all of these things were just like hitting, just resonating with me, and I'd like they're literally foundational elements. And so thank you for that. And I know Pam feels the same way. She's we talk about you often.
Thanks.
How and that store crushed ass.
Yeah,
that
did
was
great.
Like top nationwide performer, right?
Yeah.
Brag a little bit about it.
So it was the third Carrabba's ever built outside of Houston, Texas, with Johnny and Damien as part of the Outback Group. And the year that I took over, they were on track to do maybe $2.8 million. And
that store? Or
that store. Just that
okay.
store. And the average unit volume, you know, the fun term that corporations like to throw out was like between 2.8 and 3.1. You know, that's the sweet spot where you're making money, you're doing well, you're paying bills. You know, people are happy.
Sure.
When I left, we were doing 4.4. So, you know, it had grown a lot. We had enclosed that patio and made it like a banquet room, which was really helpful. We had built a really great car side business. We were starting catering. You know, as I was departing, they were going to do delivery, which took off huge. But we built it, you know, in that community. Palm Harbor is a community where if you take care of people, they will come back. They're good, middle class, upper income retirees. They're all wanting a place they can just kind of feel safe and, to your point, have consistency.
Consistent.
And between us and Outback, you know, we were the two kind of big locations that people could find that, you know.
Right.
And they bragged on Bobby, who ran the Outback for years, and he did the same thing. He built a huge business and surrounded himself with great people and pushed the limit.
Yeah. Consistency, man. Customer service. That's another reason why I think it's mandatory everybody should work in a fucking restaurant. Is that people don't know how to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. And not a podcast, but just have a conversation.
Yep.
A lot of us are like usually waiting for my turn to speak. Like, so I'm catching about 40 to 48% of what you're throwing out there, right? And being, you know, again, just there's so much value in working in a restaurant, whether it's like obviously the position like you're having or a lowly position as me as a bartender and server. But like, dude, like just I think as we go out, and maybe I'm starting to sound more like my dad, I think. As I get older and I go out, I'm just like, shit, I don't mind spending money. I don't want to spend money at this place. The food's great. Service sucks.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and I would make the argument too that if the food was just okay, but the service was fucking phenomenal, I'd go back every time.
Yeah.
I'd go every chance we get. You know what I'm saying? That's how I think customer service and sequence of service and all of these things are infinitely more important than the food. The food matters, but I would argue. How do you feel about that statement?
It's tricky to say. I think that depending on where you go, I think there is, you know, a feeling that people don't care with service. So, you know, when I go out, I have a very low level of expectation, and not because people aren't good at their job,
sure,
but I don't want to not enjoy the time that I have outside of the restaurant that I work at in another restaurant that I chose to go to, whether it's pizza for my kids or it's Chinese food with my wife or whatever it is. Yeah. So, you know, I have found over time that I go to places that is predictable. To your point, the food might be an 80% success, but it's always an 80%. There's a restaurant near our house that we've been going for 20 years, and we go there once a month, and it's great. It doesn't change. Right. I've had one bad undercooked meal in 20 years. They took care of it. When I go in there, they always say hello. They remember me. They remember my family, my kids, etc. So to your point, I don't ever really articulate it that way, but you're right. When you have good service and consistency, you can let some things go. You can wait a little bit. You can have, you know, a table that isn't completely dry if it's wiped down, or, you know, the little things that you discredit a great place for.
Sure.
You know, and I've worked for some really great restaurants, and the stakes are a little bit higher, and the details are much, much more in number that you have to hit just to keep people happy about where they chose to go.
Sure.
So yeah, I think that's a big part of it, and I think the humbleness of working in a restaurant and having to answer to other people that pay your bills is important, and dealing with people that you don't like and realizing it can't be a lose-lose. I've had people yell at me, and you have to take it. And your brain says, I don't have to deal with this, but your job and your rent. Your rent saying play nice, and you know, and your ego saying, I don't want that guy in my life at all. I'm okay if he never comes back. And as a young manager, I had a few of those conversations, and they were destructive. They weren't the right choice, because that's not our business. Our business is, I'm on stage. I want you to love here and love me and love this, and I've got to do what it takes within reason. Sure. There is a point where the customer is no longer right and is no longer in the grace of our staff or our premise. Sure. But it really shouldn't be. It should be really, really small amounts. Right. Really, in that case. But yeah, I mean, hospitality, it's tricky, you know, and when you get into other jobs, whether you're a doctor, I mean, you know, they did this survey and they basically found that the doctors that had a better table, you know, bedside manner less lawsuits, even if they were in the wrong. If they could walk in a room and
Imagine
just like, hey, you know what? I'm human. I apologize. Didn't go the way it was supposed to go. I want to own up to it. And I have a lot of funny, quirky stories about those types of interactions, but I don't have as many stories that went well and perfectly because I don't remember them. They went exactly how they were supposed to go, and we move on.
Sure.
But
Some of us do.
Yeah, but the guy that told me that I don't make mistakes. I'm like, what do you do for a living? I'm a neurosurgeon. Oh, that was the end of that conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah, right. Jeez. Yeah, I think it's tough. It's a tough biz. It's long. My dad did it. It's nights, it's weekends, it's holidays.
Yeah.
So it's tough to. It's its own lifestyle, man. So you mentioned you left. Out there was boring. You came back. What brings a man back other than you love the chaos? You love the, what is it really that brought you back?
Some of it is the routine. There's an interesting thing when you decide to do something on your own, and very well you're going to start your own business, and you've been doing something completely different up until this point. And what your brain says is, I got a great work ethic, I'm real smart, I'm calculated, I'm strategic. But you're actually not. You've fallen in a perfect routine that keeps you out of trouble, gets you a high success rate, and makes sure that you achieve whatever the easiest goal is in that setting. And that's kind of where I was at Carrabba, is I was working 45 hours a week. I had great people. I had great systems. I was making great money. I wasn't killing myself. Had I been killing myself, could I have been busier? Probably.
Sure.
Could I have made more money? Probably. But my brain said, hey, this is what I can do with 3 children right now, and this is the results I can get with the best strategy.
Sure.
When I stepped out of the restaurant business, I didn't have any of that. Am I smart? I think so. Am I a hard worker? I think so.
Sure.
But then at the end of the day, after 100 phone calls trying to sell insurance or trying to do other things, I was like, I don't have a good routine. I don't have the confidence that I had knowing what the outcome was with this other stuff, and I didn't have the return yet.
Yeah.
And that's really difficult on the beginning of any journey, whether it's a new career or a new business or whatever. Is I failed a lot in the beginning of the restaurant business. Mm-hmm. I made a lot of mistakes. I pissed people off. I fired people when I shouldn't have. I let people stay when I shouldn't have. And you don't remember that as, cutting your teeth in the beginning. That was just part of the beginning because I was young.
Sure. Yeah, right.
So I think that was the difficulty when I stepped out is, this is really uncomfortable and out of my wheelhouse.
Who am I?
Yeah, and I don't like this. Right. To be perfectly honest, if I had stuck with it for 2 or 3 years and given it a better shot, I would have had a better idea if I was capable of doing it. But I didn't want to. I like food. I like people. I like checklists. I like clean restaurants. I like happy customers. The right AC level. The walk-in floor clean. All these
music's not too loud.
Yeah.
Water's too hot. Water's too cold.
Yeah, I mean they're all the things, but they're all the things very similar to and I think. This is going to sound really dumb to some people, but if you were in the restaurant business, you raise your children differently than people that weren't because you have a different sense of timing, you have a different sense of organization, you have a different threshold for certain things. And, I saw that when my kids were growing up. It was playtime, it was book time, it was this, it was that. And when you look at the restaurant, your day is broken up in these little teeny tiny buckets all the time. So you shift gears really easily. You don't get as stressed out when something doesn't go right. And you're okay with doing 12 things today.
Right.
Whereas a lot of people are like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
I have to clean up every time they play.
Right.
I have to read the story 7 times every time I read it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas in the restaurant business, you're like, yeah, I have to wipe the bar every time he sets his drink down. And this is just what it is.
Yeah. Or we have to. You're right.
So.
That's really cool. No, that's not stupid. That's actually really brilliant.
Well, I don't know if other people would agree.
Well, up there.
Yeah.
Then don't listen. Then don't listen to the show.
I'm a good parent. I've never worked in the restaurant business.
I don't give a shit. So when you leave, when you left Carrabba's, you danced around. You went straight to Eulalie.
Yeah.
So you left Carrabba's. You stayed with restaurant, and you did Eulalie, and then you did something crazy. I read these numbers about 140 people hired at Whiskey Cake.
Yeah.
And you were part of all that.
Yeah.
So which one do you want to talk about first? You want to do order of operations?
Yeah, let's do Eulalie first.
Because Eulalie's, can I say?
Please.
Permission to speak for
Yes, you may.
That's one of those places where the food is great and the service is hit or miss.
Yes.
It
really is.
And we've been, because Danielle still works there,
Mm-hmm.
and she, we love her. She's a friend. You when you were there, we came and saw you. Not a bunch, because it's a hike from Palm Harbor,
for
right?
sure.
But super cool place. Mm-hmm. Food was great.
Yeah.
Service was hit or miss for me.
So
inconsistent.
Yeah.
And so when it came up again, hey, it's an anniversary, excuse me, or hey, it's a birthday, or hey, we're in Tampa to see the Lightning or whatever the hell, right? It's not my go-to.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
it's not your fault.
No, that's fine.
I forgive you.
It might be my fault.
I forgive you.
So I got to Eulalie, and Eulalie was the exact opposite almost in every way of Carrabba. So it was really great breath of fresh air. It was not corporate. We weren't doing coupons. We didn't have budget agendas. I didn't get an email every day about X, Y, and Z. I wasn't expected to cover 30% of daily operations to make things happen. And that's where Carrabba's was for me. It become very corporate, and it's just that's their pathway at that time in history, which is fine.
Right.
So you get to Eulalie, you've got this wonderful family that owns a beautiful restaurant, and they need someone that can run a very large-scale operation. So, we've got a private event coordinator, we've got our own brewery, we've got upstairs, downstairs, patio, we're building a new bar, and we're trying to grow this thing, huge.
Sure.
And we were able to do that for a lot of great reasons: location, the family, the product. To your point,
Clientele too helps. It was a nice area.
Clientele. In the beginning, it wasn't. It was a lot of homeless and prostitution and stuff like that.
Before Armature Works did its thing. Yeah. You're right.
And over time, the city did what it needed to do to clean up that area and kind of commit to a little bit safer. And then it just started developing. And Tampa Heights was great. So. I was there 2.5 years and really grew into a job that I didn't necessarily deserve. To be perfectly honest, I wasn't equipped to do that scale or be that caliber person. I don't wear a suit. I don't sing my pleasure. That wasn't me.
I've heard you say. I've heard you.
I grew into it.
I
didn't say
jive at Carrabba's, man.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. But the things that I learned there and the things that I mastered, I was really proud of and really excited to be a part of. I was offered an opportunity to be someone that could grow a concept in Florida that was out of Texas called Whiskey Cake, and that's the reason I left. There were no other reasons. I would have gladly stayed there as long as they would have had me. I was taken care of, and the family was great. There really were no reasons for me to leave other than this opportunity.
Sure.
So, I left Eulalie at that 2.5-year point. We had built tremendous sales. We were growing exponentially. And to your point, the food was great. The atmosphere was great. The service was great when it was. That was our biggest challenge is, number one, the size of the restaurant.
Yeah, massive.
So we had 2 kitchens. So getting food from A all the way upstairs into the back of the upstairs patio to Z,
Sure.
or to have the patio full, the downstairs dining room, the upstairs dining room, the outside patio at a 50-person event spending $8,000, and then 100 people in the beer garden and the brewery, all at the same time. We're going to miss a little bit.
Logistically, yeah.
We're gonna miss a little bit, and part of my job was to throw people at the problem and make sure we hired the right people. And I remember sitting down with my managers saying, here's the deal. This is the checklist of the first interview. These are the questions you ask. Do not ask any others. Don't waste their time.
Yeah.
These are the second, and then I will do the third. And when I would get to the third, more than 50% of the time, I would go back to them and I said, you didn't do what I wanted you to do. I said, this is the protocol. Young, good-looking, great energy.
Yeah.
And they want to be a part of something amazing. That has to be the premise.
Right.
If they don't have the energy, they're not going to make it 8 hours. It's too big of a restaurant. Right. They're going to lose steam. They're going to get frustrated. The great part about Eulalie, to be perfectly honest, in comparison to Carrabba's, not very many people upset. Right. Not many people disappointed. Not many people complaining. There wasn't a lot of food sent back. There wasn't a lot of, this wasn't what I thought. And part of that was training. It was much deeper. And so we were having a better dialogue at the table, explaining ingredients and preparation. And then the aura of that restaurant when you go in, as silly as it is to say,
Mm-hmm.
you're just kind of happy to be there.
Right. No.
To be perfectly
that's
honest.
what I was going to say, is that that's not a place that you send, because sometimes even when they're telling you, or if you're reading a menu item or a special item, and those are written by cunning linguists and wordsmiths of all sorts, and half the time I don't know what half that shit is, man. Even if the guy or girl has told me, and I've been, what is this? What is red snapper? And they tell you all this shit. I'm going to get what I'm going to get, and I'm either going to like it or I'm not going to like it. I've never sent a meal back, personally, just because, again, I've worked in the business, like, fuck it, who cares? Like,
I'm just going to eat it.
I'm just a big dumb animal, I'll just eat it. It's easier for everybody if I just eat this and shut up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd have to really mess something up, right? Like amazingly
raw, something's crawling out of it.
Right, worm, something gross, right? But to your point, Eulali's, it commands, like, class. It just says, hey, buckle up.
Yeah, I mean, he
enjoy the rest of this evening.
He did a great job, and I think the magic of that building was there was history, there was a great story, there was good intent. They were very meticulous on the creativity of all aspects, which is not common, because most of our restaurants then, coming out of the Carrabba's dynasty era, were corporate. So it was Chili's, this, that. There were a lot of one-off amazing restaurants in Tampa at that time, and they hit all of them. They were family-friendly. You could be lawyers and come have lunch. You were getting these great values because Richard really didn't want to make money off of people at that time. He wanted to build a legacy and a business.
Build a brand.
Yeah, so, that was a constant discussion is like, I'm like, Richard, it's a 10-ounce filet with 2 sides. It's $31. If I go to Ruth Chris, it's $49 just for the steak. And he's like, I don't go to Ruth Chris. I want people to come here, and this is why we're charging that. And I was like, it's your place. I just want to give you an opportunity to think
about the margins.
Yeah, I go, it's not a me.
It'll help me hit my numbers.
Right, yeah. I mean, you can make more money, and that was never his deal. Sure. He was building a legacy, and that's what a forward thinker he is, and obviously his family. So
he's doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah. So it was good, and then the next chapter was Whiskey Cake, and it was unique and fun, and we went to Houston and Dallas to train, and then came back and opened this amazing restaurant.
But quite an undertaking, because it's in a crazy friggin' spot.
It was a weird spot at the mall in International Plaza, and it was you've got Capitol Grill, you've got Cheesecake Factory, you've got Rocco's Tacos, all that do a very big business.
Massive foot traffic.
Huge foot traffic.
Crazy.
And so they were thinking, okay, if we're going to open a concept new to this area and this state, let's guarantee ourselves traffic. So it was a very good bet.
Yeah, super strategic.
Hindsight, knowing where Tampa was going at the time, we would have done much better as a freestanding unit somewhere else in Tampa.
Sure.
In hindsight. And we had some staffing issues, which meant we have execution issues. So the amazing godlike form that you think I was at Carrabba's, I was not at Whiskey Cake. I couldn't.
Ineffective.
I had this huge team, and we couldn't get the food out. It was it's what I call a 5-touch item. You're touching it too much to make it perfect, so I can't do it quickly.
Sure.
And, the bar was outstanding. It was one of the first bars where I was just like, everything is fresh. Every syrup we make in-house, I'm infusing things, I'm sous vide.
But again, that's so time-consuming, so nothing.
So much.
You're not cranking stuff out.
Yeah,
it's a little bit too much give a shit.
Yeah.
Right? It's nice.
If 20 minutes, but it's going to be great.
Right, but if that were a smaller place, like a 25-person, like, jazz club.
Like a hotel bar.
Right.
No problem.
You'd crush.
Yeah.
But you have a massive place in a massive area.
Yeah.
With 140 plus people.
Yeah.
F that, dude. And 20-minute cocktails. Get out, dude.
And there were a lot of philosophical restraints. They wanted their concept to be a certain way, and they had found success in Houston and Dallas with certain things, but they weren't doing the same volume. They didn't have the same staffing issues. So some of the problems we couldn't fix, and that was very humbling because, again, I'd done great at Carrabba's. I was very capable. I went to Eulali, did great things, and then here we are, and I'm like, God, this is, 14-hour days, and I wasn't making progress. Right. Was it clean? Yeah. Was it organized? Yeah. Were we making the most amount of money we could make at that? Yeah, but it wasn't enough.
Didn't feel good.
Yeah, and not to blame them. This was their concept. It was more just the sprockets didn't fit together,
Sure.
and it was really disappointing.
So is it gone now?
No, it's still there. Yeah,
Great,
I
okay.
departed. I was having other things going on in my life and my family,
Sure.
and it was very difficult to have both of those going on at the same time. So
Right.
I stepped away, and I thought, hey, maybe I should do something else. And then when I tried the something else, I very loudly heard in my brain over and over, this is not who you are, and you don't like this.
Yeah.
So you got to get back into doing what makes you happy.
But sure, yeah. But also, good on you for trying.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you got to try.
Mhm.
You don't know if you don't know.
Nope.
That's where all this shit came from.
Yeah.
As I had done it enough for enough people, not this specifically, but
Right.
marketing and all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? Fucking, just let me see if I can do it.
Why not?
And the answer is, I can.
Yeah. You're
Things
very
are
capable.
going great.
Mhm.
I got rad clients, and they seem to like me.
Good.
So that's good. Talk to me about systems, because what I'm hearing is it's a series of systems and systems and systems that work.
Over and over again.
2-part question.
Yeah.
Well, single part question, 2 angles. And you've kind of mentioned, it's kind of been a theme. How do those systems work in your personal life? You mentioned 3 kids, wife,
Mhm.
14-hour days. So why are systems important? What is the outcome of a really great system? Start with the restaurant, and then we'll make it personal.
Yeah. Start with the restaurant. So the goal in my mind every day for everything that we did was the least amount of failure and the least amount of impact on me negatively. I'm not the hardest worker. I'm actually kind of lazy. What I don't want to do is spin my wheels when things fall apart.
Sure.
And so they have this expression, you can be a policeman, you can be a fireman, or you can be an air traffic controller. And everyone starts as a fireman. Holy crap, we can't do this. This is bad. I got to temp the soup every day because 4 bowls just went out and they're cold. 4 people are pissed at me. It's going to take 20 minutes to heat up soup. And now that's all I'm doing is heating up soup. I'm not doing any of the other things. So over time, I realized that I don't want to be a firefighter because I don't like the way it feels.
Sure.
And I don't like the way it affects them and the staff. Staff's disappointed. Why the hell do we have cold soup? Guests are like, I come in here all the time. Why is the soup cold? And you think to yourself, this is all I'm supposed to do. I should do it right.
Sure.
So what do you do now? Every hour, you go back and test the goddamn soup. And you
Where's the spoon?
Where's the spoon?
Is the soup too hot?
Yeah. So what the systems really are about, while it ends up being a great running restaurant and a good staff and good clientele and hospitality and all that, what it really is reducing the amount of impact, stress, anxiety that happens on a regular basis. And if not for anything, taking you away from being an air traffic controller, because you have to land the plane when the problem happens. You can't stay up there and go, Justin, go check the soup. You have to do it.
Sure.
And so what I found was I want a clean walk-in. I want hot soup. I want well-trained people. And I would literally just test all of my different theories until I landed on the one that prevented the most problems, and then we stuck with it. And quite a few people at the restaurant they're like, this is the way Vince does it.
Right.
That's the way we're doing
This
it.
is it.
It's not open for discussion.
Yeah.
I remember having a conversation with Ishmael, who was a busser that became my kitchen manager, and he's an amazing and extraordinary worker, a great person, a great father, etc.
Yeah.
And I wanted to change the setup on the line of the sauces. And I'm not a line cook. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, we're going to change it. He's like, why? And I explained it. And he goes, I don't think it's going to kind of piss them off. And I said, that's fine. I said, because the new rule is this. We're going to do it my way for 30 days, every single time, every single way. At the end of the 30 days, if you really are still struggling and it's not giving us the outcome, we'll go back to them. But we're not going to falter until then. And what you're going to find, 2 things. I'm going to end up being right. And number 2, they're going to forget why I'm right because they have been doing it for 30 days now and it's habit.
And it doesn't even matter anymore.
Right. And he's like,
and it's working.
He goes, you're kind of a bully. I'm like, I am kind of a bully, but that's how I get all of the little things
the
the way I
systems,
want them. And then when I don't have to worry about them, and so, and I've heard it over and over in my career by the people that have worked for me, probably one of my bigger strengths is systems, but it's a very selfish approach because I just don't like mayhem.
Right.
Honestly, and I don't want to deal with
OCD.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah,
is.
for sure.
So now to answer your second part of your question, how's that translate into personal life? So I live with my opposite, and I love her very much, and she has a lot of things that she's extraordinarily better at than me. But one of the things that I offer the house is consistency. Certain things are done at certain days. They're done a certain way. I do the shopping. I pay the bills. I get things operational the same way, but if you were to walk in, my keys are in the same spot, my wallet's in the same spot,
Sure.
my phone's in the same spot. Hers are not. We spend half our life looking for
Where
three
are
of
they?
those things. Yeah.
I thought you had them.
Yeah. Can you call my phone? That's
Right.
my favorite. But that's what it is at my house.
Sure.
So, when I'm in charge, we leave on time. When I'm not in charge, we want to leave on time.
Sure.
And we're really close.
Yeah.
But, does it matter or not matter at the end of the day? I haven't found a time where it was really that much of a problem that we were or weren't. So, that's my approach. But for the same reason, I don't like a stressed out wife. I don't like crying kids. I don't like people complaining in the back of the car. So a lot of my approaches to how I did things were that reason. I'm going to give you the greatest child parent thing that I stole from my aunt. So she had 3 kids, and she ran a daycare in her house. She hated fighting just as anyone else. She was a big-time control freak, way worse than I'll ever be. And her rule was kids are always fighting over who gets to push the elevator button, who gets to sit in this seat, who gets to do this, who gets to do that. And what she did was said, okay, Tina, you have Monday, Wednesday. Sean has Thursday, Friday. And then, Rich has this days. And on those days, that person makes the decision. Nobody argues.
Right.
And we did it with the kids, and probably the only time that I had a better idea than my wife the entire time we raised our kids.
Sure.
She's like, this is genius. And I'm like, we get in the elevator. I'm like, whose day is it? And you teach us in the days of the week, too. And Jackson's
And we're
like,
learning?
it's Monday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, push the button. And Peyton is just sitting there going, I hate this.
God, Mondays are the worst.
What is next? Monday,
Yeah.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Shit, that's not my...
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's smart. It's so funny because I think, I'm very much the same way. It's like I configurate around the house and do 20 different tasks, and within 2.5-ish hours, done. Whereas my beautiful, lovely better half, I'm going to vacuum for 4.5 hours, right? I'm exhausted. I vacuumed all day. It was like, yeah, you did. Yeah,
You definitely did.
You definitely did. It's very vacuum. It's very vacuum. There's that saying, it's like if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. You ever hear this?
Mm-hmm.
And it's very true because going back to something earlier you said is that we just know how to multitask in chaos, time management. Again, that grace under pressure, right? All these things are make us a little bit kind of assholes too sometimes, but to some people,
We get a lot done.
we get a lot. But we are efficient and we are productive.
100%.
We are a productive group. That's for sure. The biggest thing too, man, is that I'm hearing over and over again is that like you're really good even at home. It sounds like it's a culture. You build a culture, and the culture is, yes, we can.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We may not like it, but
Yep.
yes, we can.
Yeah.
And I think that that's super important in a restaurant, obviously, is that or in any business, I think you have to have a good culture of people who understand what is the goal, what is the value of the company. I think that's, from a marketing standpoint, and I'm going to go back to customer service, is like, that to me is all marketing, right? Because the best form of marketing is still word of mouth. If I have, a great meal, I'm going to talk about it. If I have a great meal, great service, I'm going to sing it from the rooftops.
Agreed.
Shitty meal, going to sing it from the rooftops. Shitty service, I'm not a letter writer. I'm not going to leave a Google review because I'm not, I'm not that dude. But I won't go back.
Yeah.
And I'll tell people why, And so all that's marketing to me. And I think that, when I look at Whiskey Cake and I look at you lately and I look at this, like, how did you guys handle the marketing side, the PR side? Like, what are the secrets? If I wanted to start a business today, a restaurant specifically, how do you market it?
Well, that's a tricky question because
right?
operators don't think like marketers. So I'll say for ukulele, It was constant presence in the community. And if you look through any of their Facebook feeds or their, the marketing team was exceptional for sure at the Columbia and Eulalie. And they were constantly bringing to attention things that they loved about our community, things that were happy in the community, things that they were involved in. It was just constantly, and people love those brands for those reasons.
Sure.
And
like
a lot of them.
Good feel-good story.
It is. Like they had a kid that something happened at Armature. It was a shooter or something like that, and the kid went out of the building and helped someone, out of harm's way or whatever. It wasn't immediate. It wasn't as scary as it sounded, but it was still scary. And they platformed him not to make themselves look great, to make him look great. And there's something really that resonates with you as a person in a community that wants to really pay tribute to someone that loves their staff. Sure. Not they could have just said, yeah, it was horrible, there was a shooter at Armature, and they could have just moved right on. Right. And they do a great job with that. Whiskey Cake was a little bit different. It was a little bit more grassroots. It was a lot of social media. We tried to do different things with community leaders, West Shore Alliance, and some other places like that. The fundamental city
you
stuff.
Did something like United Methodist or something. There was some sort of like every half of every dollar of something went to. Yeah, it's good stuff.
So that's the typical
Community.
stuff. Community. People. And at the time, Tampa was growing in a way that we didn't even know was going to happen after COVID. So it was really a lot of kind of boots on the ground. Just get out there. Whatever, which is the same old story without the corporate messaging of commercials and things like that. Outback in the beginning went to schools, went to churches, did the softball leagues and all that stuff, and that's worked. It worked great. What I see now is over competition, the saturation of so many restaurants that they have to be so particular. Someplace like Predalina, which is very Mediterranean, it's a beautiful restaurant. They do a great, great job. But unless you're in the mood for Mediterranean, you might not go there unless you live down there and you like the things that they're doing.
Sure.
If you go to Asher, same thing. Very unique atmosphere, very cool bar. But if you're not down in that area or you're looking for that specifically, they really are trying to get a niche and own that niche.
Right.
And it's the best you can do in a big city, to your point. Come in, take great care of them, make sure the product is flawless. And, now more than ever, are you getting the value? I don't mind spending $20 on an old-fashioned, but I better walk away like an angel carrying me out of that restaurant going, that was the best old-fashioned I've ever had.
Right.
I'm that way, though. Most people wouldn't.
Right.
But a lot of people in the city go to having the old-fashioned, so they're in that restaurant.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of that, too, right now in Tampa.
Sure. Yeah, I don't disagree. We went to, what's it called, Olivia?
Mm-hmm.
Very
outstanding.
Okay, you were shaking your head no.
No. I was just like, I can't even. It's one of my favorite restaurants in the city, to be perfectly honest. And
super good.
Yeah.
I was incredibly underdressed. Okay. Even though we were dressed, relatively nicely for date night.
It's a little South Tampa.
It was it was so South Tampa. Uh-huh. Like I couldn't be more north.
Yeah.
Yeah, with my with our attire on. Interesting clientele.
Yeah.
Great place, great food, great service.
Yeah, outstanding.
And to your point about spending money, I don't mind making the drive. I don't mind spending a few bucks.
Yeah,
if it's great.
Yeah,
right. If it's an experience, and I hate to always bring it back to Carrabba's, man, but I'm gonna tell you, like we still order occasionally takeout. We don't dine in. Okay.
We don't do that with kids.
And no, the kids. It's not because of the kids. The kids are rad. It's just that it just feels like it doesn't feel like cheating. I think that's the wrong word. It's just not the same. It doesn't hit the same.
Gotcha.
Right? And then we heard they got microwaves now. It's like what? That's blaspheme. How dare you blaspheme?
I know.
It's just crazy. But anyways, yeah. So we'll get takeout. And we'll bring it home, and I fucking hate doing that, anyways, because the food's never as it's not as hot or whatever, blah blah blah. But anyway, the reason why I bring that up is that it just sucks, man. And I'm sure you still know people there, and I'm not trying to bust your friends up, but man, I'm really sad about it because I think that and this goes for a lot of restaurants in the area, I think customer service is dead. Or it's automated, or it's like, it's just not what it was. I feel like that, and you're still in the biz, so maybe I'm wrong. But when I'm out there, whether it's a Best Buy, a Cheesecake Factory, it doesn't matter. I feel like I'm more often disappointed than I am impressed. And that was not the case like 10-ish years ago.
Yeah.
What do you think? You work in it. You tell me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a flip of a coin. Depending on what kind of restaurant you go to. Sometimes I am pleasantly surprised. And then sometimes I'm like, this is exactly what I thought I was going to get. And again, like I said earlier, I have a low-level expectation because I need to enjoy this. I'm spending money at a place that is going to give good returns. And my wife and I have fallen into, we have 7 restaurants probably that we go to, and we go to them repetitiously for the exact reason you're talking about. Right. Sometimes the service is just there. It's not bad. Sure. It's not blowing me away, but it's there. It's good. It's efficient. It's timed out. It's courteous, etc.
Technically correct.
Yeah. You're doing all the things. I just don't feel the feeling.
Yeah, right. And that's the thing. I want to feel the feeling.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you taught us to, just shower them with the feeling, man. It was like a customer service golden shower out there. We're just pissing on everybody.
Yeah.
In a good way. And they loved it.
They
loved it. And they would come back and they'd complain. And sometimes people would just love to complain, but they'd always come back.
So
they loved it.
I'll share a weird story with you. So my wife and I and 2 of my 3 kids went to Outback on Sheldon Road a couple months ago. And I like Outback. I still like Carrabba's. Again, I don't have a level of expectation. I know what I'm going to get. I like what I get. It's rarely wrong or bad, but it lacks that feeling you're talking about. The culture has changed, though, in the last 10 years for that whole company, so that's part of it. But we walked in, 2 managers at the front door, young host, kid probably looked 14, but probably 18 or 16, and he's got a tray, and he's sampling out a frozen drink, that's non-alcoholic, right as you walk in. I was like, well, that's not something they're known for. Right. Interesting.
That's nice.
2 girls, looked you in the eye. They were young, but they said, hey, how many? Great. Let me walk you over to the table. They laid the menus down. This person's going to be your server. Have a great evening. Okay, no problem. Server comes over.
Check. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it already.
She's friendly, goes through the menu. I ask I generally ask one question I should know the answer to, but I want to know what they know, and it's not mischievous.
It's a test.
Well, it's not a test in that condescending way. Like, and to this day, I still don't know the difference between a ribeye and a New York strip, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. My wife's like, why do you do that? Because I want to know what they know. I'm just curious. Anyway, she was outstanding, and she checked on us. Same little kid comes around when we're eating dinner. It was bad timing, but it was a great approach. He's got little samples of the brownie sundae that they have an appetizer. He's like, would you like to try one? I said, well, we're still eating, but can you come back around when we're done? They hit so many points that night. It was better than any night that you and I ever lived through at Carrabba's. I was so impressed. And that's what they're doing right now, is they're trying to recapture that feeling because they let it go for money, for greed, for whatever it was, right? And they're trying to get back to that because that's what we wanted to be in the beginning. You remember the nights where I was like, hey, I need you to fill all these with sangria, and I would just walk through the lobby, or I would make pizzas and be like, hey.
Sangria Santa Claus, man.
It was, and people were like, oh, my God. And they expected that from Carrabba's.
Sure.
You don't go to Olivia and get that. You get a lot of other things that they're great at. Yeah. You don't go to Eulalie for that. There's no way. I tried to do it one time. It's too big. I don't have enough hands and enough trays.
Yeah. No, it's and then at that point it's not cost effective.
No. So so there's things. I don't think hospitality's dead. I think that the art and the desire to do great things because of the cost of labor right now is a challenge.
Yeah.
So people aren't spending as much time training. You don't get as much out of people. They don't stay as long in the job.
Sure.
And you have a feeling that is not replaceable. It's Shangri-La, it's utopia, it's a time in your life where things were great, you were great, the people that you surrounded yourselves and the people that we worked with, I think, were really great. We all really got along, and we all really enjoyed that time, and I think that, not rose-colored glasses, but I think that was as good as we were for a really long time in that place.
Yeah.
And we had a great team, so I think it's easy to go out and go, it's not going to be like that. And you're right. I go to Carrabba's just as a feel-good meal once in a while.
Sure.
And I love it, and I miss the food. But you're right. It's a little stale. It's a little impersonal.
It's bittersweet.
It's a little impersonal,
Yeah.
and so I have to go to places and see Bob, who's still at Palm Harbor.
Oh, yeah.
Or I go see Ricky, who works at Sheldon. Or I go see Bobby, who runs, South Tampa, because I know that will liven it up a little bit for me.
Sure.
Because I need that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know the difference, so they just go out and have a great meal.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Totally okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back, have you noticed over the years that the talent pool has gotten weird, or is like culturally, like I'm talking like as far as like society goes, is there a cultural shift in like the talent pool, or is it always like this weird? Sometimes you get good ones, sometimes you get bad ones.
Well, I think there's a couple things in this city now. There's way too many places you can work. Have I had great people at a lot of these restaurants? I've had amazing people. So I would say no, we're not missing talent. There's not maybe as many, or they're going to so many different places. Someone asked me the other day, because the concept I work at now is not a high-end place, and they said, hey, do you think that the people that work for us here are different than the people that you were working at these other places? And I said, well, the people that worked at those other places wanted something different. It was more than a job. They wanted to work for a famous chef, or they wanted to work at a place where they could be seen and heard and known, or they wanted to climb a ladder with something different. So they're not better. They just want something different. And some of it is money, and some of it is fame, or, being close to something that's very unique and notable, especially in this city. If you said you worked at Olivia, people hold you in a different regard than if you said they worked at Barter House down in Ybor.
Or Applebee's.
Yeah, and Barter House is a great, it's a great place. But, or Applebee's, they're like, oh, okay. And when I hear that negatively, unfortunately, I think, oh, you are either not good at your job or you're very brand new at it. And that's not fair.
Sure.
But that's the caliber that you would see differently at those places. So I think there are more places to work at, and it's challenging and it's expensive. When you and I were working at Carrabba's, the tipped wage was $3 an hour, and now it's $11. So
get out.
Yeah, and it goes up every year, and so better or worse, for whatever reason.
11 bones.
Yeah.
Dude, dang.
Yeah. So how much time I spend on training.
Yeah.
How long they're allowed to be on the clock, quote unquote.
Sure.
The impact that they're going to have, and how I can get them to do their job, and they know they can literally go across the street. When you were making $3 an hour tipped wage, the tips meant way more to you.
Oh, yeah.
Now, they still mean a lot, but they don't mean as much, which means you can go anywhere and be somewhat self-sustained with that money.
Not feel the impact of being at place X versus place
Right,
Y.
100%. Yeah. So, I think all of those things kind of tie together. I mean, yeah, people, this young culture that's coming up, some of them are just as amazing as you and I thought we were then. Some of them don't know how to have a regular sentence with an adult look them in the eye. Some of them don't know how to take negative feedback.
Sure.
I had hostesses that cried at Carrabba's 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I have hostesses that cry now. So, but I also have hostesses that don't take shit from anyone now.
Common denominator.
Common denominator. Host.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, so that's interesting. So do you feel like now you have a lot more people that give you more shit than maybe before? Like, do you feel like there's an authority thing? Just curious.
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. But when I look at the younger generation that's working, I generally think that they can't take as much as we took. And it's not a universal thought that's true, because a lot of them are great, and a lot of them can dig deep, and work through the push, like you were saying,
Sure.
And can handle a lot of stress and pressure, and whatever. So, the blanket statement doesn't work, but when you look at it, it's a lot different for sure.
Sure. Lightning round. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's go. You want another tea?
Mm-mm.
Oh, one
It's
and done,
perfect.
huh?
Yeah.
One and done. All right. What is the worst restaurant trend right now? You're in the business. What is trending and what is crap?
I don't know. I don't necessarily think. For a long time, I hated coupons. It is part of our culture, and it's part of our business, and it drives traffic. I don't like it, but it works to a certain level.
Sure.
Problem is, I think it works for the wrong people.
It brings the wrong clientele in.
I think so,
Yeah,
or
I
very infrequently, or only when there's a coupon. So that's my mantra about that. I don't love third party at all, DoorDashes and all that stuff. You make very little money. There are way more complaints than there are positives, and the culture or the society in general, from our perspective in the business, they don't understand we have nothing to do with it. So if you come in and you're a DoorDasher and you pick up an order, it takes you 45 minutes to deliver to the guests, and the food's cold, and you took a slice of pizza out or you ate the brownie or whatever, they think that guy works for us, right, and now we're bad people, and that I don't like that. I don't.
Yeah, because you don't have any control over the quality or the experience of that. Yeah. It's not Carrabba's catering. It's rando Joe Schmo or Miss Missy. Mm-hmm. You know,
and it's the least exciting way to present food.
Yeah.
It's never hot or as you intended, right, and you don't get the opportunity to breathe in the atmosphere of what cost so much money and took so much hard work and effort to present to the people that want to dine in your restaurant.
Right, the intention of it.
Yeah, I mean, if Eulalie was doing third party, which they don't, or at least they didn't when I was there, they would get home and it's cold fries and it's a burger that's kind of fallen over and slumped over because the guy threw it in the back of his car seat and it took him 30 minutes to get there.
Right.
And the chef at the time didn't want to do any sort of to-go. And, we had a law firm right next door, and I was like, we're going to make an exception. He's like, well, that's not how we present food. And I'm like, it's just for them, though. We're not going to do it for everybody. But for them, we're going to, because these are high-powered people that are going to then bring their clients out for dinner.
Right.
So you have to kind of make some exceptions, I think, for some things.
Sure.
So those things are a problem. For a really long time, I was like, how many charcuterie boards am I going to see on menus? I got to tell you, I don't get tired of them. I love every goddamn one of them. And if you give me an espresso martini, I am literally a poster child of this generation. I love both of them. I don't care. If you can figure out how to do carpaccio well, on Swan, probably the best I've ever had.
I don't
to be honest.
What's carpaccio.
Carpaccio is basically a pounded beef that's raw, and it's garnished with, an aioli or capers or, whatever. And it's razor thin, and you just basically cut it and eat it. And you're eating raw steak. Is basically what it is. The first time, the first time you're like, I'm doing what?
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to eat raw steak. I know that for a fact.
Sure.
But it's outstanding, and that's one of those things that kind of bounced around menus for a while, probably more higher end. Dipping sauces, I'm kind of over that.
Yeah,
like, how many dipping sauces?
I want less shit on the table.
Yeah,
Can we get less shit?
What?
Don't put your table tent on here. I get the bev nap. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
But, like, all your marketing stuff, I immediately take it, and if there's an empty seat, I don't give a shit about your brownie.
Yep.
Like, I just want an empty, clean table.
But to your point, those table tents are because servers don't do their job 100% repetitiously.
Yeah.
The dipping sauces are because my children, and soon to be your children, will grow up, and they like chicken fingers, and they like dipping sauces, and that's what it is.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Noah has to have ketchup. Oh, wait, can I get some ranch? And he does this little
Swirl.
science experiment on every table that just spills over, because it's never like, can I get some ranch and some ketchup and an extra plate or a ramekin? I get,
Yeah.
Or it's like, bro, ask them to make it. Hey, can you take those two things, Miriam? Or give it to the bartender, have him shake it up, put on a little ice. It's crazy. Man, okay, best person you've ever hired. I'm not looking for a compliment here. Go. And what made them great?
Best person I ever hired.
Best hire. What made him great?
Honestly?
Lie to me.
Wow. I'll lie to you and I say it was you. I'm just teasing.
Don't you dare.
Ishmael. I hired him as a busser, and he was the worst busser I ever had. He was a delegator. I had 3 bussers on Saturdays, and he would sit in the main entry of the kitchen and tell the other 2 what to do, and I found it very confusing. I
was
like,
holding out for management.
Yeah, he was. He was like, I'm better at this than that.
Good for him, man.
And then we needed a line cook, and we put him on a line, and he was head down, positive. He never freaked out. He never yelled. He never got frustrated. He wasn't a crybaby. He got along with everyone. And then click, click, click. And then all of a sudden I get a phone call one day that they're going to open the Carrabbas on Sheldon Road, and they're going to take my assistant and my KM, which I'm like, who does that? Who takes the whole team? What am I working every day now from Sunday?
Yeah, take my eyes.
Yeah, take my eyes. And they're like, well, who do you think? And Pedro, who was my KM at the time, says, I can train him to do it. And I have never liked working with someone more for as long as I did, because we just got along. I never yelled at him. He never freaked out on me. We understood each other. We respected each other. On the upslope of his learning, he was very much a sponge, and he didn't argue and say, I don't want to do that, or it doesn't work, or disagree. And then when it was time to disagree, we had very thoughtful conversations. And then all of a sudden, he is a bird that flew away and did great things. He's the partner of the Temple Terrace location. He's raised a beautiful family. He's done great for himself.
Yeah.
And
all the way from a busser, dude.
Right. And so
beautiful story.
You look at that, and I don't take credit for it because it was him that made all that happen.
Sure.
Was I the backdrop? Maybe. But I didn't do anything special that I didn't
Hate
do.
Me like one of your French girls, Jack.
That's right. he's got the medallion on and everything. No, but he is someone that stands out in terms from hire to where they went. I've had a lot of people I loved working with. You were definitely one of them, and you made the job fun and interesting. We joked around a lot. We were serious when we needed to be serious. We shared some good times when times were tough with you, when times were tough with me.
Yeah.
And we always kind of respected that boundary and that sharing, which I really appreciate. And I didn't have that with a lot of people over the years, but it helps you get through that day. It helps you have a relationship. And it always made me think of you in a way where, like, I need to work hard enough for that guy for him to have a good time at this job. Yeah. And I always felt like anything that I ever needed from you, you would absolutely pay it back to me because of that respect.
1,000. Yeah.
And you for the restaurants that I've worked at, I've had good people at all of these restaurants that I loved. Sure. And some I had nothing to do with. They were just cooler than I was every day of the week.
Sure.
Period. Yeah. Whether they were a cool bartender.
I fucking hate those people.
I know. Like, I work all day and you come to the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the one I think that probably sticks out.
Yeah. For sure. No, I don't disagree. Rad dude. Yeah. And really cool story. Really cool story. By the way, not joking, all of this that I'm doing, mm-hmm. you were a major part of that. Do you know why?
No.
Okay. So I was bartending, serving. This is like 2010. No. Yeah, 2010-ish, give or take. And I got this weekend opportunity at Janice. You remember this story?
I remember you starting with Janice, and it was very exciting.
And it was tough because bartending weekends, serving weekends, those were the money days. Mm-hmm. And it was like, hey, and I was really battling with it because it was like an internship. Mm-hmm. Less than, I didn't even get paid. It was an unpaid internship. And I remember bouncing it off you and being like, hey, and I it's so funny, man, because like we're buddies now, but there was like, there's the authority of a boss, especially a good one, because you were a great one. It's kind of son dad.
Yeah.
And I'm not dissing my father. My father's super rad. But you know what I'm saying? Like there's this like it's just like this authority, hierarchy, respect, trust, dare I say love?
You can say it. I'd say it right back.
And so this opportunity came and I was like, fuck. I was like, dude, it's the weekends. The weekends are fucking busy. Getting time off was always kind of tough anyways. And I brought it up to you, and you were sitting at the end of the bar, and you'd eat dinner at the bar on, some nights that you were there if you didn't order sushi from Mike's, which we still go to, by the way.
Love that place.
It's still great.
It's awesome.
We go at least once a month. That's one of our spots. But anyway, and you said, like, hey, man, see what happens. Dude, if I didn't talk to you, I wouldn't have done that. And if I didn't do that, none of this shit would have happened. Because that got me into production, which got me as a director-producer. And
you did a lot of cool stuff from that one bounce point.
One fucking thing. And dude, Vince, man, like,
I'm
why
so
do you
glad.
think you were invited to my wedding? It's not because you're handsome.
I thought Pam made you, to be honest.
She had a part of it. Right. She did have a part of it, yeah. Manager pet peeve that drives you nuts. Number one thing.
Like managers that work for me?
Or just as a manager of people.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry. I'll ask clearer questions.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. I don't like people that are late. It's hard to plan my day if I don't know you're going to come, and they don't really get that part, because that's the only thought I have when you're late is, are you actually going to get here? Not, are you going to be late because you couldn't find a shoe or there was traffic or whatever? And that is the employee mentality, and it's a very human thing to be like, hey, life got the best of me today. Some people more often than others. But
I'm on my way, a.k.a. I just fucking woke up. That guy or girl? Yeah. We all know that guy.
Yeah. That or the people that don't have enough respect for the environment to be apologetic when they're wrong. So to piggyback off the late thing, you're 30 minutes late. You didn't call. You didn't write. No smoke signals. No hot schedules, messages.
We called all the hospitals.
Yeah.
We were worried sick.
You just walk in. I'm like, hey, what happened? And you are mad at me because I'm frustrated you're late. That's probably my biggest pet peeve. Not that you need to cow down to me or bow down.
No, fuck that. There's a responsibility. There's a responsibility.
Just walk in. They go, hey, dude, I'm sorry I'm late. I meant to call, this. Okay, great. And I'm going to handle it differently. And that's really the hardest part, I think, for employees in general until they really get it, to manage that part. And that was always a really frustrating, and it's still to this day. I still have that conversation with managers, with hourly employees, with servers, everything. I had it a couple weeks ago. A guy came in and I'm like, I go, why were you late? And he gives me a story, and I said, okay, you've been late the last 3 days though. So is this not the right job? Is the time wrong? Do you want to come in a half hour later so you're not late, or are you just not able to manage time? Right. And he started to kind of get frustrated and a little bit, apprehensive about the conversation. I said, here's the deal. I scheduled a time I need you. You don't come and go as you please. So are we going to fix the problem, or am I going to fix it? And if I fix it, you don't work here.
Right.
And I know that sounds horrible.
No, it's fucking fair.
But it's fair.
It's fair.
But that is a pet peeve where a lot of them, let's not say most, a lot of them really struggle with that understanding of, hey, I'm not a jerk because you're late. You're a jerk because you don't know your place in our relationship and you're not willing to own it. Yeah. And that's really all.
Jerk store called and they're running out of you.
They're running out of you, baby.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Yelp review you wish you could post anonymously to any restaurant. And you don't even have to say the restaurant. Just what would the Yelp review be? Anonymous.
Oh.
That's tough.
That is tough. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know what the review would sound like, but this is the worst story.
Just give me the gist.
Yeah, the gist of it. I wanted a side of broccoli, and you wouldn't give it to me, even though I offered to pay. So here's the story. We go into this restaurant.
What?
Chinese.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. So we go into this Chinese food restaurant. We're the only people there. The lady, we had gone there a couple times. Her daughter would always be running around. Very cute. Food was great. And whatever dish I ordered, it came with broccoli, and I wanted more. I said, can I get another side of broccoli? She said, no. And I was so taken aback. I was like, it wasn't like, no. Like
maybe they're out of broccoli.
Right. Didn't say that. So she's like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, we don't do a side of broccoli. And I go, well, I'll pay for it. I thought maybe that was the problem in the conversation.
Money. She's looking for free broccoli.
Yeah, I don't want free broccoli.
Case.
Yeah.
Pay for broccoli.
So she's like, no. And I said, okay. So now my mind immediately thinks, this is a frozen bag of Chinese food that comes with the broccoli it comes in, and there isn't more. And that's not the right thought because it was super fresh.
Else. Can I tell you where my brain went?
Where?
They pre like soft cook. Uh-huh. I don't know what the professional term is.
Yeah.
But they pre-cook stuff, put it aside, order up, boom, 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 and that's why 10 minute. That's why it's always 10 minute.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know. To this day, I don't know.
There's no way they do frozen. Well, no, they could do frozen.
Last time,
no, loves some frozen fucking broccoli.
I hate it so much. Yeah. No, it was fresh and you could tell. But anyway, last time I ever went there, and I really am not that type of person, and those types of things don't generally happen to me. But I'd be like, I want a side of broccoli. I'll never come back. And and no one should ever go there because of that. Right. And that's not my personality.
No,
but I'll never forget it.
That's your anonymous review. Would 2005 Vince like 2025 Vince?
No.
Why?
He would think he's soft.
Really?
Yeah.
I like you soft.
I've lightened up because
Vince.
flaccid, emotionally flaccid Vince.
Yeah.
I don't think so because 2005 Vince had something to prove, and I don't.
You had a chip on your shoulder.
I did. I had a chip on my shoulder. I wanted to take over the world. I wanted to do all of these different things. And now that I have done what I've done and gone through what I've gone through, it's not that I don't have the fight. But it's a really hard fight to keep fighting if you don't get to where you want to go, and that's kind of what's happened.
Sure.
over the years.
Yeah, it's more piss than vinegar, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like I can be pissed that everyone's late, but like I've said to managers, well, are you going to fire everyone? They're all late.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Let's pick something else. Let's find a gradient that we want to, a hill to die on. And I don't want to die on every hill anymore. Back then I really did.
Yeah.
And I don't think I run a different type of restaurant because of it, but I definitely have different people because of it.
I think you run a very different restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've only worked for that one, but I worked there for many years. If times got tough, I would fucking. Yeah, hey, Vince, what restaurant you at? I'm gonna go work for you. I'll deliver pizzas. I don't give a shit.
Nice.
I do. Oh, hold on. So I had one last question, but I do want to go back because you said something really, really great when you said during the hiring process you have very specific set of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And your first interview, second interview, before they get to you, they have to ask these questions. Okay. What are the questions? B, how and why did you develop it that way? And maybe by answering the first one, it'll kind of generally answer the second.
Same answers as the systems.
Yeah.
I don't need to get to the third interview to learn that you can't work Sunday. I don't need the third interview to say that you are going to be a nurse in 2 months and this is a part-time job. I don't want all that time spent. Plus, I also don't want to have you, because you have, and this was the really tough part for me explaining it to managers, you have to understand someone applying for a job, showered, got dressed, drove all the way here, parked, hopefully they were early, waited in the lobby for me to get my act together, to get down and sit with them.
Sure.
And this is the third time they've done that, and I could have saved them all that time and effort to learn the things that I needed to learn in the first interview. So the first interview is very much, what is your availability? What is your goal with this job? Why do you want to work here? And, do you have a car to drive here? Do you have a felony? All the stuff that are disqualifiers, I don't want to find out later.
Sure.
The second one was really, I want to learn about what you did. So when the manager comes to me and said, hey, this is Justin. He worked at Applebee's for 5 years. He was a trainer. He went over to Chili's and opened up 3 restaurants. He was their lead bartender. And then he was working at Olivia for the last 3 years, and now he wants to work at Eulalie. Okay, that's all the information. That's good.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to sit down with you in my interview and go, why am I going to fire you?
Yeah.
What is it that your last boss,
right,
if they could change one thing, what would they have changed? And I've gotten great responses. I'll never forget Lauren Byrne, one of my favorite people that worked at Carrabba's.
Sure.
I don't remember what time.
Lauren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
lovely.
This is what she said to me. She goes, my boss always caught me eating. I go, okay. I go, if I catch you eating, I'm going to fire you. Are you going to do that here? And she goes, you're never going to catch me. I go, I love you. That's a great answer.
Oh, hey,
great answer.
Do you still talk to her?
She moved. She moved up North Main or something like
Laura.
that.
As soon as she saw her face, I was like, she was so lovely.
Yeah, she was
great
sweet,
attitude.
great attitude. She
attitude.
went to Dunedin Brewery for a while and then worked at another place. Ended up calling me. She was a bar manager. She was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Can you help me? I'm like, I'll help you however I can. And then she moved out of state. But anyway, so you ask some of these weird questions, and you try to figure out what their default is, because you don't really know that as a person.
No, and you don't find that out in a 30-minute interview.
No, so
over 3 times.
Yeah, I remember interviewing a girl, really, really nice girl, great experience at Eulalie, and she wanted to be a bartender, and she was very personal, had all the right answers. And I looked at her, and I was like, I can't hire you, and I'm sorry, and I really appreciate your time. I hope that you are a guest of ours in the future, all this. And she's like, why not? And I said, because you've given me every perfect answer, and I just don't trust.
I don't trust it.
I don't trust that you're being honest about what really makes you tick.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing this a really long time, and those are, if I need a food runner, I'll run food. No, you won't.
Yeah.
You won't. You'll do whatever you want to do until I make you, or until you have to.
Or you'll be a giant fucking pain in my ass about it.
Yeah.
And I just don't need that.
Right.
There's 139 other fucking people.
Yeah. And she was shocked.
Yeah,
And she's like, really? And I said, yeah. And I said, it's nothing against you. I said, but I don't know if I'm ever going to get the right answer, and I don't want to waste any more time. You seem lovely, and I know that you'll do great somewhere. I'm just not going to offer you a position here. And we moved on. And hopefully she did great things somewhere, because she had a great personality.
Yeah.
She's had all the right answers, and I can't trust that. Be honest. Everyone's got something grouchy, right?
What is it? Yeah. What's up your ass? God, that's so interesting. Good. That's good, actually, feedback.
Yeah.
Not that I plan on interviewing anywhere fucking ever again, but that's good feedback. This was the last part. Was I wanted to talk about real quick. Payjack.
Yeah.
Okay. So consulting.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going? Your website's down.
Website's down. I no longer do it. So that was kind of what it is.
That's right.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Got it.
So what it was, that was the very much what you're doing right now. Hey, I've got a lot that I have to offer. I've done a lot. I know a lot. I know a lot of people. Maybe I could do this.
Sure.
Not really knowing what it is that person
What
does.
it
right?
is, yeah.
Everyone that works for a really large firm somewhere in the United States has talked to a consultant, and they all probably have a predefined version of what that is. It's not always positive, but they get paid a lot of money. And I thought, ooh, that's awesome.
I like that part. Yeah.
So, I did the website. I did some pictures. I did the
Yeah, the pictures were nice. That's why when I went to go look at the website today, I was bummed out.
yeah.
I was going to put it up right here.
I had a big
Instead,
checklist.
you got this.
I had a dream board. Yeah, this is bullshit.
A vision. It's called a vision board.
Vision board. Yeah. Well, it was a dream board because I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work.
Yeah, I didn't have the vision. I had the dream.
Yeah. So I had two clients. One was a referral from a friend, and I went in and did exactly what a consultant would do. They had a list of issues they wanted me to solve. I said I'd be happy to solve them. I can't do it for you, but I'm happy to outline it, walk you through it, how to lay it out, da-da-da. It was great. It was a really fun thing. It didn't pay a whole lot, but it was nice. Yeah. The second one was a friend of a friend called me and said, hey, I need this. Will you do it? I'll pay you whatever you want. I said, I won't do it because I don't want to do that. But I will help you in every way up until doing the actual job. So I will consult for you. I will go into the business, and I will get it clean, and I'll get it organized, and I'll get all of the problems taken care of. And I spent 1.5 years with this person, and I did it at 3 different locations, and it was exactly what I wanted, other than people don't do what you ask them to do when they don't work for you.
Right.
And so that's the trick of the consultant, is to be able to go, hey, here are all the answers, best of luck. I appreciate the money.
Dude, you're so right.
I'm going to move on. And that, as an operator, because that's what I am. I'm not a dreamer. I'm an operator. I would walk in and go, well, here's how you fix that. And I would fix it, and then I would bring everyone over. This is how I need you to do it, and this is why.
Right.
And this is what I'm going to do every time I come in to help you along until it's automatic. And we went through uniforms. We went through IT stuff. We went through redoing the entire bar program. Organization, prep list, like all of back to systems. Right. What are the things that make a business successful? And I went through all of them with all these different people, and finally had a couple of really tough conversations. And you understand leverage in a conversation where you don't have it.
Right.
And they were like, "Well, I don't work for you. I don't have to do that." And I go, "That's true, but you work for that guy, and that guy told me to do this." So. Right. We can call that guy over here, and we can have the really fun conversation that you're trying to have with me, because you're not going to hurt my feelings. Okay. Yeah,
the check's already cleared. Check's cleared, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did that with 2 of his restaurants, and then I helped him open another one in Brandon. So it was more of a operation specialist at that one than it was consultant. It was a lot of just get these things done, organize it. Here's what I want, make it happen. And so that was really fun too, because I had never worn any of those hats. I always had a corporation or a family doing that for me.
Sure.
So he said, hey, I want this type of uniform. I'm like, well, here are the 5 examples. Which one do you like? I like that one. Great. Here's what it is. We order them. We stack it up. We take the pictures, blah.
Right.
So all of it was great, other than it didn't actually become what I wanted it to become. And I don't know if I was fully capable of that, back to doing things that you don't normally do.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. So when I first started off on my own, I threw around marketing consulting for all the same reasons you just said.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome. It pays a lot. People need it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get a single fucking bite. And then I changed it to fractional CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. Fractional.
Okay.
And I pushed that on LinkedIn and a bunch of other fucking places. And what ended up happening was I get a buzz, not a referral, just somebody on LinkedIn. Okay. And I get, you're on LinkedIn. Yeah. So much bullshit happens on LinkedIn. I've had somebody try to sell me my own services on LinkedIn. It's like,
hey, I got this guy. That's me.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. That's what I do. Yeah. Anyway. So it's been, we're in July now. Wow. So crazy. It's July. This will be 4 months that I'm a fractional CMO. It's the same thing. It's consulting.
Yeah.
I meet bi-weekly. Mm-hmm. Okay. I come in, I meet with their team, I do one-on-ones virtually because they're out of state, and it was really hard to get the buy-in of the team. They had a great marketing team, right? Young, their biggest problem is they're young.
Yeah.
And one problem, their second biggest problem was, and this is huge in everything, and I'm sure you, even in the restaurant business, is that it's okay to not know what you're doing. It's not okay to tell people you know what you're doing when you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that, a lot of the posers.
Yeah.
Right? Especially in digital marketing, man. Everybody's like, oh, social this or paid out that. Because it's not hard.
Right.
The button pushing is easy. It's the strategy, the intention, the why, the how. The how is there are 13-year-old, 14-year-old girls doing the how.
Yeah. Pictures
and videos and farting in jars and sewing in on OnlyFans for billions of dollars. Right? It's gross, but it's true.
But it's happening.
It's happening. So the how is easy. The why, right? And so anyway, I've had this company. They're great, but dude, I at first I was like, yo, I can get this done in 90 days. Well, 90 days just came and went. And we're really close. Like, things are going.
That's great.
But it took me 60 days just to get buy-in, just to be part of the crew.
Yeah.
And, like, that was me, lobbying for, hey, can I get $250 budget so I can, like, hey, guys, go out for drinks.
Yeah.
I can't be there, right? Next month, I'm going to fly out there, spend a week, do like a Thursday, Friday, bounce on Saturday, right? Just to kind of, because it's like the virtual sucks, man. I mean, COVID kind of helped with everything, but this kind of job, it requires this buy-in. How do you get buy-in?
Yeah, I mean, you have a different.
But it fucking sucks.
Yeah, you have a different.
They're awesome though. You guys are awesome if you're watching.
We love you, but for different reasons.
It's hard. Your team's tough. I'm coming to see you guys.
Well, I think if people don't know you, I think the buy-in's hard. I think if people haven't really understood the why, Simon Sinek, he's great with the why. Why first? Why are we doing this? Let's not worry about marketing budgets and da-da-da. Why do you want to do this?
Why?
Do you want everyone to have an iPad? Or do you want so many iPads that you're generating revenue and that's all you care about? Like, the why is really important, starting with why, blah, blah, blah. It sounds cheesy, but it is a deal. But to get people to buy into it, I mean, you saw how many people, not everyone that worked for me feels like you do. So they
yeah, that's because they sucked.
Obviously.
They pretty much fired themselves.
They fired
Vince.
themselves. That's
I didn't fire you.
expression.
You fired yourself.
That's right.
Exactly.
You opened the door. I just allow you to know what was happening. I think it's hard. And the consulting thing, when I was doing it, they didn't see that there was anything wrong. Like, when I walked in, I'm like, hey, do you have a uniform here? And they're like, yeah. And I go, no one's wearing it. Well, and they make 1,000 excuses. And ultimately what people don't want to do is more work when there's no return. And in their mind, what does it matter if he wears a Skull and Bones T-shirt versus a Carrabba's T-shirt? What is the difference? He can still do his job.
Right.
But then you get into, hey, this cooler isn't at temp. Someone's going to get sick. Well, it always breaks, so we just don't fix it. What?
The fuck?
Yeah.
Put your uniform on.
Yeah.
Get the in there and fix it.
So then there's the conversations to ultimate owners is that's the wrong leader. I can't change integrity.
Well, you can't fix stupid.
Yeah, you can't.
Can't fix stupid.
So, I think what consultants offer is the answer that they hope they wanted, that they hope was easier. Honestly.
Yeah, no, I give a whole lot of answers they don't like. Right? And the I don't want to say the magic trick, but the skill set isn't knowing how to do it. Because I think for people like us, not tuning our own horns, but I will, because it's my show. We know how, for whatever reason, God has graced us with the ability to look at something and go, did you try this and this?
You didn't see it at all?
Yeah. It was looking right at you, right? In most cases, not all, but in most cases, like, and I'm not trying to be an egomaniac. It's just like sometimes I look at someone and just like, yeah, just stop doing that. Or maybe try this. Did you try this? And you always can tell when somebody's lying. They go, yeah, of course I tried that. It's like, man, you fucking didn't even think of that.
Not at all.
But anyway, it's the, you give them the answers that they don't, they know, but they don't want. What they want to hear is, oh my God, this thing you built is so incredible. You're amazing. I don't know why I'm here. right? That's what they want. And so case in point to that is that, so I have one that's going well. I'm going on 4 months. I have one, it was like barely 8 weeks. They didn't even get through the 90 day. And that was for a myriad of reasons. One of them was their finances were jacked up, right? And you kind of discover that when it's like, well, okay, how much budget do we have dedicated to marketing? Right. Very simple question, right? What do you allocate every quarter? What? How much? And it's like,
let me write it down.
How many employees you got? Well, they're all freelance. Okay, that's fine. I use contractors. Totally get it. I told you the trouble with that. It's hit or miss. Yeah. If you find a good one, love them as much as they give them fucking whatever the fuck they want. If you find a good contractor, hold on to them. Anyway, but yeah, dude, it's frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating. And to the point I think you were making is that, like, I'm not a marketing Jesus. I can't. I can show you the way, or I can offer suggestions and, like, also too, one thing I'm working on is, like, helping you get to the conclusion, like, not just handing it to you.
It's very difficult.
Being like, yeah, well, so how many times have we done that? Oh, every time? Oh, wow. If only there were a better way, like, and not in a condescending way, but to try to get them to kind of come and be like, oh my God, what a brilliant dude. Have we tried this? This is fucking great. Hey, guys, take notes from Jeff. Jeff's paying attention, because then there's, like, ownership. It's not my idea.
Right.
It's like Inception. I'm like the Wish.com Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie Inception, trying to plant my ideas in your brain, but they're your ideas.
It's
tough.
It is tough. It's a big trick in coaching for sure, and being in charge of people that you want to change. And I love change, and it's not popular.
No.
And I don't always have the full authority of doing it. So I've had a lot of those conversations where it's painful. You're like, all right, well, we fell down tonight. Why? Okay, great. Could we have done something differently? Yeah. Or do you think it was really we're just not good and it was a random occurrence? Okay. And now I've had conversations with people. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to take that as it is until it happens again, and then we're really going to dig in. And I've had conversations with people. I'm like, hey, here's the thing in life. You can choose any path you want as long as you get to the result I want.
Sure.
Or you can just do it my way, and I can give it to you. It's completely up to you. I don't want to tell you how to do it and what to do because no one likes that. But right. I already have the answer. So if you were smart, you would just ask me what the answer is,
sure,
and run with it. If you want to be creative and work it through, then let's do some different things and try that. And so, I come to the table and I'm patient, and most people take a while. I'm an operator again.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience. I already know the fucking answer, and I don't know why I have to wait. Just do it. Just do it and reap the benefits of this amazing answer. And a lot of people aren't with it. And so, especially when you are consulting, you don't have a connection at all. So they can't even remotely think that that's an option to just buy in.
Well, yeah, but I would argue that my goal is, because my job isn't to be there forever as a full-time employee.
Right.
It's temporary. It's temp. It's fractional. I pop in, I pop out, right? Yeah. As long as needed. But even my intention isn't like to just milk. No, it's like, yo, dude, fix what's broken. Implement some systems and some thought leadership, and then peace out. But and not forever. Like, I'm always here. Call me. I can, I'll do a little touch up, little tweak here. But the way that I found, or at least not the way that I found, like I've been doing it for 100 years. No, I've literally been doing it for less than one. As a fractional, right? Is that if it's not their idea, they won't adopt it.
Makes sense,
right? And so I've tried with the other company, was like, do this, and people are like, fuck this guy, because again, we're not the sweet. It's not that we're mean, but we're very direct. It's like, that's what makes us good at what we do.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're here.
Yeah,
it's not because I'm tall and handsome, because I'm not tall.
Because I'm not tall, definitely handsome.
But you know what I'm saying. So like, it's like more bees with honey. And again, I'm working towards, and working towards with this team, and I'm giving away secrets right now, is that, to your point, I already I don't want to say know the answer. I have a really good idea if we do this and this that we'll have a way better outcome.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best, but on the path towards, hey, we're on the right track here. Let's keep twisting some knobs, but going this direction. But if you dictate it, nobody takes.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy. Who's this guy? You know, I asked for a raise. Now they're paying this guy. That's the one I heard blatantly to my face. It's like, you know, it's crazy they brought you in here. I was told we didn't have any money. And it's like, hey, dude, can I talk to you for a second? Can you Teams me on the side after this? You're not in trouble. I just want to talk to you. And I coached that dude up separately, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome, company.
Yeah.
That's free coaching. But my point is that, like, yeah, you have to get them to adopt it. It's like, let me show you.
Yeah.
Right? What's the thing? It's to teach a man a fish, give a man a fish.
Yeah. Give a man a fish, teach him a fish. He feeds
Yeah.
himself his whole life.
Right.
It's tricky. I think you have to have
You gotta
patience.
teach him to fish.
I think you have to have a different mindset with your goal. And you've got to understand how to evaluate a person really quickly so what you're doing will actually work. I've never been a person, I wouldn't say that's not good at that. I never wanted to do that. I don't have all the time in the world to wait around for you to come to your own conclusions.
Sure.
And to be honest, it's made me unpopular with certain people in my career that they were like, you know, and I've even had people say that exact expression, if you just make them think it's their idea. And I'm like, well, we're having the conversation. Like, what?
Yeah.
And they're like, and they try to turn around to me like, well, how would you feel? And I'm like, well, I would feel that that's my boss and he asked me to do it. I would just do it.
Right.
I don't have to agree with him.
Sure.
I definitely don't have to buy into it, but I am an adult enough to know that I work for another person. They want this.
Right.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, we don't get here by not being compliant, dumb fuckers.
Right.
Like, open your fucking eyes.
Yeah.
How would I feel?
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. I'm tired of this feeling shit.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to feel. I'm too busy.
Yeah.
Wake me up when it, yeah.
Yeah.
I
If
feel
someone-
on Sunday.
If someone cared what I feel,
Yeah.
I would share it.
Sure. 1,000%.
I would share it.
Dude, I could do this all night.
I could too.
You're a rad guy.
You are also.
I appreciate you coming.
This is going to be great for you. I know you're going to do great
well,
things.
wait. Fingers crossed. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm open to coaching.
Okay.
So after this, if you're like, hey, next time, let's make ultras or whatever.
No chance.
No, I really appreciate you coming. Guys, again, this is Vince Kassay. It's been a beautiful episode. You are, I mean it when I say you are a friend, you're a mentor, and I'm glad that I met you.
I am also.
As a server at Carrabba's.
Yep. It was great. And it's been great the whole
15
time.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome, man. You're fucking cool. Thanks for coming.
Much love.
Cheers.
All right.